It is a wonderful Friday. A cold Friday. It's about 8 degrees outside, it feels like. But that doesn't matter. We're inside and we're talking about sports today. Welcome to Shot of Sports. I'm your host, Nazir Spencer, here with David Ballier. David, it's just us today. And we're going to be talking a little bit about football. You and I are big football heads, and we love to argue in the group chat about a lot of things. But before we get into all that, I want everyone to go subscribe and go like and go follow us on every social media platform you possibly can. Everything but Facebook, pretty much, Spotify and YouTube included. So we're going to just jump right into it because we have a lot to talk about today. First off, David, how have you been? What's been going on with you? How was your week?
Dude, week's been good, man. I've been sports-wise, man. It's been crazy. Being a Michigan fan, this whole Sharon Moore situation has been just a fucking doozy and a half, man. I still can't even believe it. It's probably one of the craziest college football scandals of the 21st century. But yeah, I've been good, man. Just looking forward. This is a good time of year for sports. You know, the college football playoffs are about to start. College basketball is in full swing, and we're starting to really know who's the real contenders and who's not. NFL playoffs are coming up. Yeah, no, that's definitely. They're just on the shout out Ellie Cadeau and Yaxel Lendeborg. They were just on the cover of Slam magazine, which is pretty sweet. That's awesome. Dope. But yeah, really start. It's like deep enough into the season now to where we know who the really elite teams are going to be, but also there's still a good amount of the season. There's still a lot of ball left to be played. NFL playoffs are about to start. The MLB winter meetings just happened, so a bunch of trades have gone down and everything. So it's a good time of year for sports, definitely.
Absolutely, and we're going to hit on one of the topics that you just said, actually, and that is the college football playoffs. Now, look, we had some disputes earlier this week on whether or not some of these teams should be in the playoffs. Now, my initial thoughts was Miami should be out. And that reason is they lost to Louisville and SMU. And, going based off of that, unranked, I thought, well, hey, they shouldn't be in. But the only reason they're in because Notre Dame kind of screwed themselves out of a conference once again, and they lost to Miami head-to-head. So Miami automatically would make it in over them. And there was a lot of dispute about BYU being in, and you had some thoughts as well on that. Now, just give me your just quick takes or long takes. Doesn't matter. Just give me your takes on what you like about this and what you don't. First question, actually, are you in agreement that JMU and Tulane should be in the playoffs? Because I think it's whatever, but they're going to lose regardless. Do you think other teams deserve a chance like Texas, Notre Dame, Vanderbilt even? Do you think other teams like that deserve to get in over those teams even though they won their conference?
Yeah, I think I was never a fan of the playoffs getting expanded to begin with. Now, I've come to accept it, but I've always been a proprietor that the college football playoffs is a selection that it's different from most sports where you basically have to have a perfect season. That's one of the reasons that I love college football so much and why I like it more than the NFL is that basically every game matters, and if you drop one game you're not supposed to, it can derail your entire season. The stakes in college football are always supposed to be a lot higher than the NFL, and I thought expanding the playoffs at all would kind of take away from that. I've come to accept the fact that the playoffs have been expanded, but the group of 5 auto bid is probably my biggest problem with the college football playoffs. Now, I understand that it does inherently have some benefits. I mean, it balances recruiting in a sense because, teams like James Madison, teams like Tulane, teams like North Texas, they have a really good freshman QB this year, Drew Mestemaker. Those types of teams, they have a higher chance of getting, more balanced recruiting because they could say, hey, we are one of the best group of 5 teams in the country, and we'll have a chance to compete for a spot to go to the college football playoff, which, recruits who go to those schools wouldn't have normally been able to say. But, I mean, it just makes for some really uncompetitive games in that should be bowl games, honestly. And if you really want to put the best product on the field, I hate to say it, but the mid-majors, the group of 5 teams, they just don't really belong. I mean, I think Oregon opens up as a 23.5 point favorite against James Madison, and like Tulane is like a 17.5 point dog. I just think it's kind of dumb. And like the thing is, I was talking to my dad about this, and he had a good point. He's like, we'll be for the group of 5 auto bid until our team is the one that gets left out because the Tulanes and the James Madisons have to make it. And I like, if I was a Vanderbilt fan, or if I was, a Notre Dame fan, I would be furious knowing that these teams are just basically going to be cannon fodder for Oregon and Ole Miss to get into the second round. So yeah, I definitely don't think the group of 5 auto bid is something that's gonna stick, especially if like next year like a high profile SEC team gets left out, so that fucking Wake Forest gets in or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, so here's the thing. Tulane played Ole Miss earlier this year and they lost pretty badly, if I'm not mistaken. And it just blows my mind that teams like that can make it. Now, there's another dispute with Alabama. Okay, they have a 3-loss team, and your whole thing is strength of schedule, and those losses. That loss against Florida State earlier this year is a big loss for them, okay? But then they went on to defeat Georgia and Tennessee as well. There's some other games as well, beat Vanderbilt pretty well. They lost to Oklahoma, but I guess that's a fair loss in the committee's eyes. What are your thoughts about Alabama? And do you think that it's like favored? I know it's favored. I know for a fact. I think we all know that they're favored over every other team to make it. But like, is it becoming like this big of an issue where maybe other teams should have been in? Like, what other team do you think should have been in? I personally don't think BYU should have been in, because I guess I know they made the conference championship, but I think there's a different level of competition when it comes to the Big 12 and SEC. I think everyone knows that, but they were also 11-1, and their strength of schedule was also a little bit similar to Alabama. But Alabama, they still technically played harder teams, if you put it in kind of this perspective of both their schedules. I just want to know your thoughts about Alabama being in the playoffs. I personally just think Miami should be out, but that's just my thoughts. What are your thoughts on Alabama?
Like, honestly, in a vacuum, I don't have a problem with Alabama making it, because in my eyes, a team should never get punished for making their conference championship and losing, because you have to think they lost a third game, but they won the privilege to play in that third game that no other SEC team outside of Georgia and Alabama has. So to penalize a team for, adding that third loss when they earn the right to play for that third loss, I don't think that's correct. So by that logic, I understand Alabama making it. And I will admit, this Alabama team they do have some very quality wins. My whole problem is that the criteria for making the playoffs is just not consistent at all, because last year Alabama was left out of the playoffs with 3 losses, and the whole argument for them being out, because if you remember, the 2 teams that everyone was fighting over was SMU, who had 3 losses, and Alabama, who had 3 losses. Every time that those 2 teams would come up, the whole argument for Alabama being out was that they were a 3-loss team who didn't make their conference championship. SMU, even though they did have 3 losses, lost to Clemson in the ACC championship, and it was a very close loss. They lost on a game-winning field goal, and that was the whole. That was ultimately what led to SMU getting that final spot. This year, it's basically the same thing. You have BYU, who I think is the most deserving team to make the playoffs, that didn't make the playoffs, who made their conference championship, but then got punished because they lost. And I understand that, that Alabama played a much tougher team in Georgia, and like neither team was competitively close, but the whole logic is that Alabama didn't get punished because they, for losing a third game because they made their conference championship, but BYU did. BYU got punished, and that second loss was held against them, even though they earned the right to play in the Big 12 championship. So I just think that the whole criteria for making the playoffs has not been the same for the bubble teams this year as it was last year. And I will say, Virginia losing to Duke really threw a wrench into things, because that's the whole reason that Tulane made it, because you're not going to give the whole concept of the weakest Power 5 champion obviously isn't going to make it. You're obviously not going to put 7-5 Duke in the playoffs. If Virginia would have won that game, that would have made things a lot cleaner, and that would have given Ole Miss probably a tougher game. But yeah, I don't have a problem with Alabama being in, because I'm a firm believer. And even though, and another thing about Alabama is that obviously they didn't look like they belonged on the same field as Georgia. I mean, 28-7, Ty Simpson looked overmatched as could be. Like that's another thing that kind of just makes it sour for me. But I'm never going to get mad at a team for losing in the conference championship, especially if it's the SEC championship. But I just don't understand why it had to be different for BYU. And while I do agree with you that Alabama did play a tougher schedule, I mean, BYU's schedule was no slouch either. The Big 12 was very surprisingly competitive this year. I mean, they played Iowa State, who obviously Iowa State turned out to be not that good, but at the time they were good. They played Texas Tech twice. They played Arizona State. They played Arizona, who ended up being ranked. I think they were 21. Like they played a pretty good schedule, and I feel bad that they didn't get it over a team like Miami or a team like Alabama. But again, I understand that Alabama got the head-to-head win. But yeah, I don't really have a problem with Alabama making it in theory. I just have a problem with the way they made it.
So the what I was telling Jalen and Chris the other day is Alabama played Georgia twice and BYU played Texas Tech twice.
Right.
BYU lost both, and Alabama went to Georgia and won. And it's just, I think it's that kind of stuff where it's like, okay, you can clearly beat Georgia, but you shit the bed a little bit in the SEC championship, but you beat them already this year. So we can put you in the playoffs. So we know that you can still compete. It's just the fact of, well, can you continue? Can you get better after these past 3 weeks? Because you've been looking pretty bad, but we're going to look at the middle of the season and see how you were prevailing over all the good teams, besides Oklahoma, their now opponent. That's the reason I thought they got in. The only reason Miami is in right now is because Notre Dame messed it up for themselves. I think they're the only team that shouldn't be in. Now, Tulane and JMU, a lot of people were saying, well, why aren't you talking about JMU and Tulane? Well, they won their conference. I get it. That's kind of the basis of the playoffs now. They want to put these teams in the playoffs to spark the teams and just make everyone feel included. I get it. But at the same time, you got teams like, that are looking at the outside. Just putting JMU and Tulane over Notre Dame to me is kind of insane. But I understand when it comes to, the non-conference play, they played a really weak schedule. They played a lot of teams with 8 losses on their team, on their team. So it was just not a good look schedule wise. Now, I want to talk about this last thing before we move on to our next topic. Let's get into our quick predictions of what we think is going to happen in this bracket. I think I'll start at the top. Obviously, Oregon's going to win that. We'll start first round, and then we'll move on to quarterfinals. If we disagree, we'll talk about it. But I think we can both agree Oregon will win that game. I think Alabama will get back, because everyone's saying they shouldn't be in the playoffs. They're going to head back to Oklahoma and get the dub like they wanted to the first time. But no, Oklahoma's no slouch. I can see Oklahoma winning as well. I just think that Alabama, they're going to get it. Ole Miss, Tulane. Now, this is not going to be close, but I think Tulane will put up a better fight than they did the first time they played this year.
It'll be the first time we've seen Ole Miss without Kiffin and Pete Golden, their defensive coordinators now. So we'll see. I mean, they have a month. They have basically a month to get right, and I mean, it is one of the weakest teams, but it'll be interesting. Tulane's quarterback is no joke. He was at BYU last year, actually.
He got an arm on him, man.
Yeah, Jake Retzlaff, man. That dude is tough. I like. And shout out! I got to shout out my fellow Jewish players, man. He went from being the BY Jew to Jew Lane. So
there you go. Now Miami and Texas A&M. I don't want Miami in the playoffs, but I think that they're going to win this game. Now, I only say that their D-line is something else, okay?
Their D-line is good.
Their D-line is absolutely stacked. I think it's a real deal.
Ruben Bain. I think Ruben Bain is the number one D-line, defensive tackle in the class, 100%.
Yeah. I think their D-line is absolutely real. I think they're going to really pressure Texas. I think that's the only upset. Well, I guess Alabama's technically an upset, but I think Miami is going to win that game. I don't want them to be in the playoffs, but I do think that they're going to win that game. It's going to be close because I think it's going to be a defensive matchup, but I think Miami has a bit more on offense to compete with Texas A&M's defense. Based on the other side, Texas A&M not going to do a lot against Miami's defense, in my opinion. But that's the first round for me. Give me your first round.
Well, I agree with you. I think JMU Oregon isn't going to be close. That's going to be a nothing game for Oregon, and I also think I'll be watching the Ole Miss game because I want to see how Ole Miss's offense responds under Al Golding. It's always interesting for me because he was their defensive coordinator to see how he handles that uptick in responsibility. I'm going to go with Oklahoma to beat Alabama. This Alabama team, they've looked the highs have been high, but the lows have been low. And the thing about Alabama for me this year is that in a pinch, I'm not really sure where the offense is going to come from. Ryan Williams, who everyone was praising, he was on the cover of College Football 26. He has not had that good of a season. He's actually fifth. He's fifth in all wide receivers in the nation in drops.
Yeah. Oh man.
This Alabama offense, I like Jeremy Bernard, but I don't really think they have a clear cut. Go get it and make a play type of big ball receiver. Also, something about Alabama, I'm not sure if you knew. Ty Simpson, apparently, there's rumors going around that he suffered a very serious back injury, a herniated disc. In the SEC championship, and he's his status it's just rumors and everything like that, but apparently he got there's rumors circulating around that he got a really bad injury, and playing in Norman, trust me, dude, as a Michigan fan, that is a tough place to play. We had to do it. That crowd is loud. This Oklahoma team, in my opinion, is easily one of the best 5 or 6 teams in the country. Brent Venables this is the best defense I've seen on a Brent Venables Oklahoma team. John Mateer was my early pick for the Heisman, and his season kind of got derailed after he broke his hand. They put him out there for the Red River game, and it was clear that he was playing injured. And but man, he's probably the second best dual threat quarterback in this class, in my opinion. That dude is fantastic, and I think this is the first time we've really seen him fully healthy. I think Oklahoma is probably my biggest sleeper to make a serious run in the playoffs. And because of how Alabama looked in the SEC championship and the fact that Ty Simpson may be hurt, I'm a long plus. I want Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer is my number one guy I want to come to Michigan, so I'm hoping they lose. But the Texas A&M Miami game is interesting because
that's probably the best matchup of the weekend for me.
Yeah,
I like that.
You bring up a good point because Miami's defensive line is
so good, dude. It's real. It's a real deal.
I love Ruben Bain. But it's it's interesting. If you would have asked me this a month ago, I would have said Texas A&M. But then that Mississippi State game happened. That they almost South Carolina. They almost lost to South Carolina, and that was the first we saw Marcel Reed look really, really bad. They obviously won that game, but I think this is just going to come down to this. These are two quarterbacks who have very high highs and very low lows. We've seen Carson Beck. Carson Beck was in the Heisman conversations early in the season, and then he ended up falling off after their losses. Marcel Reed also was in the Heisman conversations, but he quietly hasn't played very well.
If Beck take cares of the ball, they win the game.
That's true.
That's fair.
That's true. Yeah, I'll ride the hot hand. I'll go with Miami.
I like that.
I'll go with Miami.
Obviously, Ole Miss, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll say that because I'll trust the quarterback who's been in this situation before. As exciting as Marcel Reed is, this is going to be the biggest game he's ever played in. Texas A&M wasn't good last year, and he didn't even play the full season. They still were with Connor Weigman, and Carson Beck has been in the college football playoffs before. So I feel like he's going to be better adjusted to a game like this. So I'll take the upset Miami. That's the one I'll ride.
Awesome. Now quarterfinals. Ooh, Oregon versus Texas Tech. I got Oregon. I got Oregon. I got Oregon. I know I'm biased, and I know I love me some Oregon Ducks, but
Right.
I don't think Texas Tech can really. They're a good team. They're obviously a top 4 team in the country based on the rankings and stuff like that. But Oregon's no slouch. Obviously, they have an amazing offense. They always have just an all around great team, and I think that Oregon also has a pretty good, very underrated D line that no one really talks about. They also have I think they have a pretty decent run game. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people just don't
Yeah,
like
no Whittington is solid. No,
yeah, I like Whittington. I mean that I think that they can win that way. They can win on the ground. They can win with that D line. Obviously, their corners are pretty damn good. Their wideouts are always pretty good. I just think they can win this game. And then I got Oregon over Texas Tech, and then the next one, I had Alabama moving on. Indiana's going to wipe the floor with them, probably, in my opinion. I just think they will, but I think Alabama wins the first game at least. Ole Miss versus Georgia. This gets interesting, in my opinion. I think. Ooh, I think Georgia's really good. I don't think they're better than Indiana, but I think. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna take Georgia. I guess I'll take Georgia in that situation as well. They're just teams overall better. Miami versus Ohio State. Okay, call me crazy, but I can really see Miami winning that game. I genuinely can. Now the matchup is the way that I saw Ohio State play the other day against Indiana. They were getting to the quarterback nonstop. The defense wasn't playing up to their standard at all. If Carson Beck can somehow just have one of those games we've seen Carson Beck have before, I think Miami could win that game. It's just the fact, will they? And that's what's kicking me right now. And I think I'm going to go with them. I'm going to ride Miami. I don't want them to make it this far because I don't think they should make it to the playoffs. But I can't deny their talent on their team. I think they're just a very sleeper team. I think them or Notre Dame would have done the same thing. So yeah, I got Miami, I got Georgia, I got Indiana, and I got Oregon.
Okay, all right. I would love if Ohio State lost in the first round. That would make my day. I'll go the other way. So I would love to see Miami beat Ohio State. As an Ohio State hater, I hate them more than anything in the world. That would make me so happy. But the thing is, the way that Ohio State's played the last 2 games, I think the blueprint for beating them has become very clear. Is that you have to disrupt Sayin. You saw when they played, when you saw when they played Michigan. Michigan has a good pass rush on their own. They got completely taken out of that game. Sayin had clean pocket. I don't even think Michigan got a single pressure. And you give Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and Brandon Inniss, you give any quarterback, it doesn't matter who's back there, 5 to 10 seconds to let them throw the ball in space, and there's not a secondary in the country that can hang with that. But then Indiana, they got consistent pressure. They won off the edge, and Sayin, he didn't look great. So I think in that regard, I can see the potential upset. But the thing is, Ohio State's offensive line, I think they're going to respond well. They were a Joe Moore semifinalist. They've reloaded really well after losing, Donovan Jackson and Josh Simmons. They have another really good offensive line, and I can't bet against Ohio State in a situation like that. We saw after Michigan beat Ohio State last year, after that month-long break, they locked in and they made a couple of changes to the offensive line, and then they just went on that incredibly dominating streak. I'm pretty high on Julian Sayin. I think he's probably the best. I think outside of Mendoza, he's the best pocket passer in the country. And absolutely. I do think even if they get pressure, because the thing is that it's just so it's just like pick your poison, because if you want to send pressure, then you're going to leave those corners in man coverage, and if you don't send pressure, then that's why
I was having an issue. I was having this in my head. I'm like, this is not going to work out the way I'm thinking it will, but
it's a lose-lose situation, and I have to go with Ohio State here.
Fair enough.
I think that they are one of the most dangerous teams in the country. I think their defense might even be better this year than it was last year, which is insane because they had like 10 players drafted. But yeah, so Georgia, Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss a lot. I think Trinidad Chambliss has been one of the greatest stories of the season this year. You know, he took over for Austin Simmons when he got hurt, and has had one of the best QBRs in the country. And I do think that Ole Miss would be a team that I would root for because that would really stick it to Lane Kiffin, who obviously, you know, is just in college football for the money. But I do think Georgia's defense is going to overpower them. They have looked vulnerable at times. You know, they almost lost to Florida. They were in a close game. That Texas game wasn't really a blowout until like the third quarter, but I do think Georgia takes care of business there. So these other two, though, are interesting because I think Oklahoma is very much capable of giving Indiana a good game. And we've seen, like I said, like with Georgia, we've seen Indiana look a little shaky at times. You know, they almost lost to Penn State. They took that miracle catch by Omer Cooper to have them not lose to Penn State. You know, obviously, I mean, Ohio State's a good team, but that was the first time we've seen Fernando Mendoza really look rattled after that interception. And I do think Oklahoma is the sneakiest, like, underrated team in the playoffs. Their defensive line is outstanding, but I do think I do like Indiana here. I think Mendoza showed a lot of grit playing after he took that huge hit from Caden McDonald, and I'll probably take Indiana over Oklahoma, but that one will be close. And so I like Oregon a lot as well. Dante Moore, he's a guy that I've liked ever since high school, but I am going to take Texas Tech here.
No way.
I am. I think Texas Tech has probably the most underrated player in the entire college football bracket. I don't know. It's a name that not a lot of people know, but it's this linebacker, Jacob Rodriguez.
Of course.
This dude is an absolute stud. Yeah. Led all of Power 4 in tackles, 4 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions. This dude's an animal. It's if the Heisman wasn't only like a top of the line defensive award, with the offensive bias that it had, I thought he should have been a clear Heisman. Like a linebacker's never going to make the Heisman finalist, but I think this dude is an absolute animal. There's just too many guys on Texas Tech's defense that I like. David Bailey, 10-sack season. Lee Hunter, fantastic defensive tackle. Micah Hudson, receiver from USC. He's been a revelation for them. I do like Texas Tech here. Oregon is this is in my opinion, this is a very good Oregon team, but this isn't an elite Oregon team. I think last year's Oregon team was better. I don't think the receivers are as good this year. Losing Evan Stewart really hurt. Losing Tez Johnson really hurt. I do like that tight end, Kenyon Sadiq. That dude is a baller, but
that's what I think is going to be the game changer. I think Sadiq's going to be a game changer.
That's fair. Yeah, Sadiq is very good, but I don't think Oregon has enough weapons to hang with Texas Tech's defense, so I'm going to go with them. So I have Texas Tech, Indiana, Georgia, and Ohio State as my semis.
All right, my semis is Oregon versus Indiana, and then Georgia versus Miami. Now that's that's funny. Now I'll start at the top. Oregon, Indiana. The reason I'm starting with this one because Oregon played them off of a double OT game against Penn State. After Penn State, they went back home to play Indiana. They lost 30-20. The only game they lost all year. Now, this game I think will come down to the wire again. Well, not again, but it will this time. I think with much rest, unless the game before it goes into double OT again. I think because that takes a toll on you. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand how much of a toll playing another quarter or two and running more plays. It takes a little bit of toll on you. I think that if Oregon gets enough rest and they finish the job in the first few games, as they should, I think they can get this win. Now, do I think they're going to get this win? No, but I think Indiana will take that game. I think it'll be a very close. I think it's a field goal game. If this ends up happening, Oregon versus Indiana, I think that should, in my opinion, should have been the Big Ten championship that they played this year. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see it. But I think it comes down to the wire in that game. I think Indiana makes it to the championship game. I think their team is just overall, they look like a real playoff team that can really make a deep run. I think this is their only chance is going to be this year, I feel like, because I don't think next year they're going to be as good as they are this year, obviously. But I think Indiana makes it. And then Georgia versus Miami, I'm just going to take Georgia. I don't think Miami can hang that long. So my final will be Indiana, Georgia, and I think the Bulldogs pull it off. I think the Indiana gets a last quick upset. I think Georgia is just, they looked scary the other night. So I think Georgia will take it all the way. I don't want them to. I want Oregon to take on Georgia, but I just don't have faith in them. Like you said, their weapons just aren't the same. But I think it'll get them that far to the semifinals where they can compete at least the last second, or maybe by a touchdown. Who knows? But I think Georgia will take the national championship this year.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can't listen. Georgia, year in and year out. When it comes to these types of matchups, I always look to coaching, and I found it very hard to bet against Kirby Smart in these types of situations. Last year, I thought Georgia had a great chance to win a national championship, and then obviously, you had that freak Carson Beck injury, and they had to go with Stockton, who had not started a game in his career at Georgia up to that point. Now, obviously, that he's their guy now, but I thought Georgia could have been a serious player. They definitely would have beaten Notre Dame last year if they would have had a healthy Beck. So I can't hate on that. Texas Tech versus Indiana is an interesting one for me. I like Texas Tech a lot. I think they have a lot of defensive weapons. But as someone, like I said, I look to coaching in these types of situations, and I have been a Cignetti hater for the longest time. I didn't like his attitude. I didn't like his mindset. And especially last year, they were horrendously overrated last year. They played no competition, and the only two games they played where they played teams with a pulse, they lost to Ohio State, and then they got run off the field from Notre Dame. That game was not a 10-point game. That was the game. Jeremiah Love ripped off that 98-yard touchdown first drive of the game. They did not look competitive at all. But I got to say, I completely changed my tune on them this year. That win at Oregon was fantastic. I know that that Penn State isn't a good team, but still going into Happy Valley for the whiteout game, winning that as a second-year head coach is very impressive. Beating Ohio State, I've definitely flipped my tune on Indiana. I trust Cignetti now, and although I still don't really like him, I got to say he is the real deal, and I trust him in high leverage situations. And I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I'm really not that high on the Big 12 making a deep run. I like Texas Tech enough talent-wise, but like the thing about a team like Texas Tech, they have enough talent to beat a team like Oregon, who like I said, this is a good Oregon team. This isn't like an elite Oregon team. Texas Tech is here because they bought their roster. They have the most expensive roster in the country. They reportedly spent over $25 million on their roster, and I like Texas Tech, but like I said, with these types of matchups, I'm gonna go with the coach I trust more, and I trust Cignetti more. So I'm gonna take Indiana to beat Texas Tech for the Natty, and then I have Georgia and Ohio State, and I think this could be one of the best games. I think this could be one of the best games of the year. But I'm gonna take Georgia, and I know that's like. Listen, I like Ohio State a lot from just purely from a team perspective, but I do think that Georgia last year would have been the best counter for Ohio State, just because I like their secondary a lot, but they also run the least amount of man coverage in the country this year, which I think they've shown. The Indiana game shown that you just have to make one of the other wide receivers beat you if you're gonna blitz, then you have to double you have to double one or the other. Obviously, usually Jeremiah Smith, and I think that's going to be the game plan for Georgia. I trust Kirby Smart more than I trust Ryan Day, and I think Georgia beats Ohio State, and then Indiana, Georgia. This is that again. That's tough because I think
Tough, man.
I think again coaching matchup. I'd lean. I'd lean Georgia because of Kirby, but I think I'm gonna have to be boring and say that I would take Indiana here. I think Mendoza's the Heisman man. He's been the best quarterback in the country to me, and it hasn't really been close. And I think he has a Heisman moment.
Future Jet right there. That's gonna be fun.
100%.
But okay, so you got Indiana, I got Georgia. Okay, well, everyone, that is our college football playoff bracket breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We're gonna get into some quick recaps from last night's game from the Buccaneers versus Falcons. And what does this mean? Like this division is so weird to me. I just the Falcons have looked like one of the worst teams in the league, and then the Buccaneers have looked like the best at some points, but they've been really bad the past 5 games, 6 games. And it's just the Panthers are now leading at 7-6. They didn't have a game this week, but now they will this week coming in. I forget who they play, but it's going to be I think they might play the Saints. Yeah, they play the Saints this week, so another divisional matchup. So that's a big game for them. I know the Saints aren't good, but it's still a big matchup in terms of division stuff, and they could be 8-6 after this week, which is very likely to happen unless Bryce Young's for some reason.
Listen, man, the Saints. I've kind of become a little bit of a Saints guy, man. Dude, Shuck it, we ball, man. Tyler Shuck, that dude he just beat the Buccaneers. I know the Buccaneers are now 7-7, but dude, the Saints are a sneaky team, man. I'm telling
Kellen
you.
Moore, man. Look, Kellen Moore is a fever dream for the Eagles right now. Kellen Moore is actually one of the most underrated coaches. I know
he was a great kid.
They have 3 wins on the year, but they have not played like it recently. I know they got shut out a few times earlier this year, but like they've played really great defense. They've been flying around. Chase Young's he's having a very underrated season this year.
100%.
Very super quiet because it's
finally starting to look like the guy we saw from Washington this year. Yeah,
exactly. Yes, he has looked amazing this year. I hope he stays healthy and gets the recognition he deserves next year when maybe they can compete a little bit in the division. Because this division isn't. It's a competitive one, but it's not one of those divisions where it's like someone's going to take a massive lead anymore. It seems like the Falcons are in shambles. Their coaching situations. I mean, I know they won last night, but what does this mean for the Buccaneers? I mean, Baker Mayfield, a top 10 quarterback in the league, playing absolute heart out. Coaching comes down to the wire. They start running the ball at the end of the game, which makes no sense. They need the lead, and they give the ball back to the Falcons. The Falcons go kick a field goal. Kirk Cousins is a very veteran quarterback, so he knows situations like this very well. The Panthers are now in my sights as the playoff front runner of the NFC South, and it's shocking that I'm saying that because I love Bryce Young, but the team overall still isn't that great to me. Like, what does this mean for this division, and what do you think that it means for the Buccaneers? What do they have to do now? They just have to keep winning. They have to play the Panthers twice, though, by the way.
Right. Dude, honestly, like, I like the Buccaneers. I'm a huge Baker guy, and Todd Bowles is an interesting figure to me because I think with when he has a good team around him, he can be a pretty solid head coach. But we've also seen, like, throughout the years, he in high leverage situations, he's just not made the right decisions. Specifically on that last drive, right?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Second and 14. Or it was either 2nd or 13 or 3rd and 14, and it's like you could have just run it to go down to the 2-minute warning, and they tried to go for it to win the game. I like that aggressiveness. But it's like at some point,
that moment,
you gotta know where you are. You know what I mean? And it's like your defense has not been playing well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Which is concerning because the Falcons were without their best pass catcher. And like you have to understand that based on how previous drives have gone, the Falcons have driven down the field multiple times in short leverage situations. You gotta think that maybe you just gotta live to fight another day here, and put your defense in the best situation possible instead of stopping the clock before the 2-minute warning. And I know the Buccaneers have had a ton of injuries. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. There's that weird shit with Bucky Irving where he was healthy, but he didn't play for a few weeks. I don't know what was going on there. At one point, their top 3 receivers were Abuka, Tez Johnson, and Cameron Johnson, who was I don't know who that was before this season. Baker was playing hurt. They had a bunch of injuries on defense. Winfield has been hurt. Zion McCollum has been hurt. Like Levante David was hurt for a little while. They've been one of the most injured teams in the league. But it's like, people were praising. At the same time, it's like they were getting praised for winning games when they were super injured. So I don't really think that can be used as an excuse now, especially that they have Evans and Godwin back. So I think it just comes down to coaching, man. I like Todd Bowles, but I just don't think he's the best when it comes down to, like the have to have it drives.
Yeah, I look, the NFC South, I've been telling everyone for years, just wait on Bryce Young. They rushed him in. They rushed him into a horrible organization at the time, horrible coaching staff, all new people. So like, I just told people to wait on it. He got benched last year. It hurt my heart to see Andy Dalton run out there, but Bryce Young got another chance and he proved himself a little bit. And they're picking up his option, I think, this year's player option or whatever it is, and team option, and they're gonna try to exercise it a little bit to get him paid a little bit in the future. So, look, if he makes playoffs, with 7 losses or whatever, however many losses it is, I'm going to be so happy for the guy. I don't care how many games he loses, if he makes it. Yeah, I mean, to host a playoff game as a Panthers in 2025 with that team still not being fully developed, that's insane. Their wide receivers are absolutely crucial in this next few weeks. They're all 6'4" and 6'5". Bryce Young can hit all those guys if he needs to. We got to see some great play out of those guys if they want to win this division. They still have to play the Buccaneers twice. Remember, they have to play in Tampa and at home in North Carolina. So it's going to be crucial these next few weeks that they get these games done. I don't know what it means for Tampa Bay. Is just going to have to figure it out. They have not been themselves. They got Mike Evans back. Chris Godwin had a decent game last night. Bucky Irving. So they're all healthy besides maybe I think one of their O-linemen's hurt. I don't know if Wirfs is still hurt. He might be back, but they need a surge, and I think
that was an absolute. I could not believe the Falcons had 19 penalties and they won
over 100 yards, dude.
They won. That's crazy. Hey man, I gotta say it. Kyle fucking Pitts, baby. Fucking love Kyle.
Look, man, I'm not a Kyle. I gave up on Kyle Pitts last year and this year actually. I gave him a chance. I dropped him and then he wants to drop 40.
Dude, you gotta, he's rewarding everyone who kept him on their roster and started him now for the playoffs, man. It's trials and tribulations, man. That's my one guy where it's like I will never give up on. I love Kyle Pitts more than I love my own life, bro. I'm telling you, man. Like I have visions of him being the next Travis Kelce, man. I'm saying, like, in terms of talent, I think he's a top 5 most talented tight end.
Okay, we can agree on that.
It's either like he doesn't get targeted, he doesn't have good quarterback play. Thank you. Yeah, Kyle Pitts prop. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. But you got to think, like, he had one of the greatest rookie tight end seasons of all time. That is the only season where the starting quarterback at the start of the season has still been the starter at the end of the season. He had to deal with Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke and fucking whatever other bums they were. They started Matt Corral a game fucking 3 years ago. Like, and then like they like had this whole shit with Penix. Penix just had a crush on Drake London and can't throw to anyone else. Cousins has been the only guy that has consistently been able to give him to the ball. I am a little bit worried because London has been out. When London comes back, I'm kind of I'm kind of afraid he's just going to fade back into nothingness again. But man, I last 3 weeks, man. Last 3 weeks, like he had 90 yards last week. He had 75 yards the week before. It's just it warms my heart, man. I love Kyle Pitts.
Look, I feel the same way about Bryce Young. When you talk about Kyle Pitts like that, it reminds me how I talk about Bryce Young. And obviously, I talk about Justin Herbert like that, but I have to have some
situation. I mean, a highly drafted guy that just hasn't really panned out yet, despite a lot of people giving him like a long leash. Like it's pretty similar.
Now you brought up quarterbacks, and we're gonna play a game here. It's gonna be fun. All right, Nas and David's top 10 current quarterbacks. Now we're gonna exclude some quarterbacks. Obviously, Jaden Daniels is excluded because he's been hurt all year. I know he played last week. Daniel Jones is done, so we're gonna exclude him. He's not current anymore because Phillip Rivers is now taking his spot. It seems like, or Riley Leonard, which is whole different topic of conversation. Phillip Rivers getting signed is irresponsible. I love him to death, but absolutely irresponsible. I love it. Whatever. Irsay, she can do whatever she wants. She's the boss. Who else are we excluding? Who? I mean, we can add Joe Burrow in there. I know he's been hurt the whole season, but it's up to you. If you want to add Joe Burrow in it, and
he would be a little bit lower right now just because he was hurt. Okay. But he's played 5 games, something like that. I think that's probably enough.
Yeah, and then who else is out? I don't think we should exclude or include 9 anywhere near that, obviously. And then Michael Penix is tore his ACL like completely again, so we're take him out. If there's any other quarterbacks that I'm forgetting, who's the starter? Who was the starter before Tyler Shuck?
Spencer Rattler.
Spencer Rattler. He's out. He's out. Who's another one? You get the gist. Justin Fields is out. Tyrod Taylor's out. We're not gonna put those anyway. Now, you want to start at 1 or 10? I'm gonna write this down in my notes.
Let's start at 10.
Okay, 1 second. Now, let's see. All right, give me your number 10. I think I'm gonna go Baker at 10 personally, but I know that's probably controversial. Just after the past few weeks, I still think he's top 10, but I think he's 10. I think that's just fair.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm gonna go Goff at 10.
Ooh, you don't think Goff's like okay? We can. Okay, we can go Goff 10. We can go Goff 10. I respect that.
I'm going Goff at 10 because here's my thing with Goff. Goff was the top 5 quarterback last year. He was third in the league. He was third in the league in touchdowns. Obviously, the Lions were one of the best teams. And the thing about Goff is that when he's kept clean, there's not a quarterback I trust more in the pocket. But the thing is that he's basically a statue back there, and obviously he doesn't have much mobility. So the offensive line play is key for him staying healthy. Outside of the Chargers, no one has been more injured than the Lions offensive line. They lost Ragnow to retirement. Graham Glasnow has been hurt. Taylor Decker's been hurt. Christian Mahogany has been hurt. They had 2 practice squad offensive linemen playing in their game against the Cowboys. And I think that is just not a recipe. But even though their offensive line has been that hurt, Goff has been like pretty solid this year. Like the Lions defense is a reason for the majority of their losses. So I still think Goff is a top 10 quarterback. And I think if like the line wasn't as injured as it was, his stats would look a little bit better.
Okay. We can agree with that. I like that. Jared Goff at 10.
Yeah.
Number 9. Let's go number 9.
I would put Baker at 9.
Okay.
I would put at 9.
I was gonna say Baker. Okay, number 8. This might be controversial. I don't know. A lot of people don't like this guy. I personally don't like him either, but I think he's played well enough to get this recognition. Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, I love that, dude.
Okay, I'm a
big guy. I love that.
All right. 8, number 8, Trevor Lawrence. That was an easy one. Okay, 7.
5-game win streak, man. 5-game win streak.
He's not the main reason, but he's made some great plays.
Here's the thing, man. Their defense has been playing so well that all he needs to do is just be a high level game manager, make the throws that he needs to make. ETN's having a really good year. Like that's it. He's playing winning football, man. That's there's not much more you can add. I like Trevor a lot. I do not think Trevor has been a bust. That's what I'll say.
Number 7.
So
This
for my
one-
number 7, I don't know if you'll agree with this, but I was gonna say Jordan Love.
What? No, I was gonna put him like top 5. I was gonna put Mahomes at 7.
You're gonna put Mahomes at 7? I
He
love. Hey,
hasn't-
listen, man.
He hasn't
Listen,
had a
man.
great year, dude.
Fuck that guy. Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Fuck
Okay,
that guy.
you-
Yeah, I like that better.
All right, Mahomes at 7. All right.
Right.
6. I think. Man, I don't know, man. 6 is tough. This is where we start getting to
Right.
maybe Lamar.
Oh yeah, because I guess if we're gonna put Joe, we got to put Lamar because Lamar's played more.
Or
Um,
okay, should we put? Okay, wait, hold on. Let's maybe backtrack. Should we put Burrow at 7 and then Mahomes, and then should we put? I don't know if Lamar's top 5 right now though.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to go back. So what we have so far is Goff at 10, Baker at 9, Trevor at 8, 7 Mahomes. Now, should Lamar be put in one of those spots? Maybe 10. Maybe Lamar's 10.
Lamar's 10.
Maybe
Just like-
that's what I thought.
Right now.
Right now. Tomorrow, 10. He's not top 5 right now. I'm
No,
hard on
definitely
Lamar.
not.
I love Lamar. But he's not top 10 right now.
I'll put Oh, that is tough.
That's where things start getting interesting because I got to put Lamar somewhere. He's still top 10, but he's just like
Yeah.
not playing top 5 worthy.
I would see.
Or we can put him at 6. We can still put him at 6.
I'll put him at Mahomes. Wait, with Mahomes at 7.
Trevor's 8, Baker's 9, and Goff is 10. That's what I'm saying. We should put Burrow like somewhere, maybe down there.
How about Lamar 7, Mahomes 6, Burrow 5th?
Okay, yeah, because Burrow's been playing good since he got back. So Lamar 6 or 7?
Lamar 7. I'll give Mahomes the benefit of the doubt because he's played more.
He's played pretty well actually. He's just not last game.
Yeah, no, I don't want to let that as much as I don't like him, all I'm thinking about is that 3 interception game, and there's more tape than that. He beat the fully healthy Colts, and this was before the wheels fell off for the Colts. That was a really good win.
Yeah.
I'll put as much as I don't like Mahomes, I'll put him above Lamar. I'll say Lamar 7, Mahomes 6th, Burrow 5th.
Now 4 gets interesting. I think Jordan Love or Justin Herbert takes this.
I would put
either one of them.
I would put Herbert above.
Okay.
I would put Herbert at 4 and Love at 3.
Okay, that's fair. I think Jordan Love's played spectacular. I don't think he's the best, but I think he's top 3 right now.
My thing for Herbert is a nerd stat for you. He has been the best quarterback in the league against blitzman coverage this year.
He has to
be. Yeah, 100. Yeah, definitely right. But right. I said it. I was saying to my friends who are, because I'm from the Chicagoland area. A bunch of my friends are Bears fans, and they all said that they didn't think Love was going to play well. And I was like, the Bears run man blitz coverage more than any team in the league. Jordan Love has the best stats in the league when facing that coverage. And then obviously we saw, that deep ball to Dobbs, that deep ball to Watson. Dontavion Wicks had a great game. And the thing about Love is that he probably has the worst receiver group out of any quarterback in the top 5, especially no Tucker Kraft. I mean, you look at Herb, and he has McConkey and Hampton's a solid pass catching back, Gadsden and Keenan Allen. Quentin Johnson sucks. Fuck that guy. But those other guys,
he's pretty easy early on. Early on, he had a pretty decent year.
Yeah.
Now he can't get open for some reason.
Yeah, Burrow has Higgins and Chase and Gesicki, and the guys above him are obviously Baker has Evans and Godwin. You look at the guys, the top upper echelon guys, and it's you got Love has Christian Watson, Jaden Reed's been out for the majority of the year, Dontavion Wicks, Romeo Dobbs. These guys are all they're not bad, but that's Christian Watson as your number 1 is kind of insane that he's putting up the numbers that he's put. I mean, he's barely turning the ball over either.
Right. Now the top 2 gets interesting. I know Dak. We left out Dak, by the way, but that he's had a pretty good year.
Dak would be 11 for me.
Yeah, okay.
He
They just can't win games. I don't know. They can't win games.
but it's like he does, but they can't really win games. I mean, they've had a couple of good wins, but they're second in the league in passing attempts, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like the volume that they pass is significantly higher than guys like Baker and Goff. And this and the thing is that they're second in attempts, and their running game isn't even that bad. Like Javonte
Right.
Williams has had a career season with them, but it's like I don't want to know. I don't know what it is exactly, but he has more passing attempts than guys like Goff and guys like Trevor. And even with how bad Baker, like even with how bad the Buccaneers run game has been, he still has more pass attempts than Baker with how much Baker has had to throw the ball. And he also has one of the best receiving situations. Like, I mean, personally, I think the Cowboys have probably if you're the Cowboys quarterback, you have one of the best situations in the NFL. Lamb, Pickens,
Absolutely.
Ferguson, Ryan Flournoy is good. So I don't know. Yeah, Dak, I could see an argument with taking out a guy like Goff or taking out a guy like Trevor and putting Goff on there. But it's I think the guys that won should get a little more credit.
I agree. Now, before we get to our top two, there's a couple idiots in the chat that keep saying that Dak is better than Herbert. He agrees, but I'm gonna say that Herbert has the worst O-line in the league. Well, yeah, absolutely. If you're a quarterback in the league and you have bad O-line, you're particularly losing games. He has 9 wins. He is the main reason they won on Monday, outside of their defense, obviously. But the only reason they won against the Super Bowl champions, by the way, is the fact that Herbert is playing on a broken left hand. He's able to throw still perfectly almost, and dot up defenses that are absolutely just top 5 defenses in the league. He's able to do everything that any other quarterback in the league right now would not be able to do. And to say that Dak Prescott is better than Herbert is laughable, because Dak Prescott is, again, like David just said, is in one of the best situations you could possibly be in as a quarterback in the NFL right now. He has one of the better O-lines. He has a top 2, maybe the best duo wide receivers. He has a top 5 tight end. He has a literal offensive-minded coach. His defense is actually not that bad. They just, I mean, their corners kind of suck this year, but their D line is actually amazing. I mean, I don't think a quarterback on this list can do what Herbert's doing right now with that O-line. I don't believe so. Maybe Burrow, because he's done it before. I think that's the only one.
We've seen some pretty bad offensive lines from.
Yeah, I was gonna say Burrow is the only exception on that list.
I was gonna say, bro, Herbert has the worst O-line in the league.
Well, he did. He does. Yeah, I did. I mean, you can't argue that.
The only team I can say is worse is the Raiders, but after that, no Slater, no Alt, bro, yeah, and anyone who wants to say that the Chargers offensive line isn't poverty, they traded for Trevor Penning this year.
Come on, but they don't even know who that is. I bet you they don't even know who that is.
Yeah,
of course you know. He's horrible. He had to start at right tackle. We traded him for a 7th round pick, and he's just, I don't know, man. Listen,
if Joe Alt was playing about Love, man. Listen, man, the stats don't lie, man. Love, he doesn't turn the ball over. Yeah, I know that their offense is funneled through Josh Jacobs, but Love doesn't turn the ball over, and he's probably one of the most efficient passers on this list. I don't know what I haven't pulled up what his exact stats are yet, but I know he has under 5 interceptions. His EPA per play is one of the top in the NFL, and he for somebody that is barely top 10 in passing attempts, he's on pace for 30 touchdowns. That's pretty impressive.
Now for our top 2, this is interesting. Now we haven't said Drake May, we haven't said Josh Allen, we haven't said Matt Stafford. Now, this gets interesting. Okay. Now, is Drake May a top 10 quarterback to you?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll have to. I think Josh Allen is obviously top 3 right now. I think Matt Stafford's also top 3. Now we're gonna have to drop someone. I think.
Yeah, I forgot about Stafford. Stafford.
I think Stafford is currently number one with the way he's. I know he had a bad game against the Panthers, but he went to Arizona and just destroyed them. Look, man, that's a tough one. So who are we gonna drop then? Because we could put as our top three. We could put. I don't think Drake May's top three. I don't know if that's crazy to say. I don't think. I think he's better than Bo Nix. I think that's fair, but I don't think he's top three. I think he's top 5 right now. Maybe.
I would put. I would put.
Look at this. Hold on. Look at this. Drake May hasn't thrown it. Just so you know. Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing. Again, I think situation comes into mind. Like you take Stephon, like outside of Stephon Diggs, they have basically. I mean, they have a bunch of underrated guys. I like Boutte. I like Demario Douglas, but like he has arguably one of the least effective offensive schemes around him.
Yeah.
Now he has, in my opinion, he has the coach of the year on his team, but.
Ooh. Okay.
I think Vrabel has been fantastic. Sam Darnold, Bo Nix. See, I don't see.
Not true.
I don't. Darnold hasn't been that good recently. But the thing is that like Darnold for me is a high level game manager. But the Seahawks have proven that they're good enough to where they can win when he doesn't even play that well, or he doesn't even need to put up like that game. Who did they play on? Yeah, they beat the Vikings and he had like 80 passing yards. And the thing is, Bo Nix is somebody that I really like as well. But he is another. He's been this year a high level game manager.
Now, Bo Nix, I don't think he's top 10. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think
I would put him. I would put him from like 12 to 13 is where I would. Put
for sure. I don't think he's anything less than 14. I just don't think he's top 10. Drake May is definitely top 10. Josh Allen is a top 2 or 3 quarterback in the league for sure right now. I don't think he's MVP.
Here's what I'll do. I'll propose to you, and this sucks because I do like the Lions, but I'm willing to drop Goff down to 11, put everyone up, put everyone down 1, and say Stafford, Allen, Love, top 3, and then May at 4.
Stafford, hold on. Okay, Allen at 2. All right. 1 is
Stafford.
Yeah, I like that. And then Love is 3.
2 Allen. Yeah, I honestly I would put Love 3.
You put okay. And then
Drake
4
May,
is okay.
May 4, 5.
May. Herbert 5.
Burrow 6. Mahomes 7. Lamar 8. And then T-Law 9. And then Baker 10. How about that?
Let's see how this looks. Hold on 1 second.
Bo Nix is not better than Justin Herbert. I'm sorry.
It's not even remotely close.
I can't get behind that.
Look, these guys in the chat look at records and they look at, the quarterback must be good that has the better record. Well, I hate to break it to you, but I don't think personally that Bo Nix is even close to Justin Herbert right now. I think if Justin Herbert had the O-line Bo Nix had, this wouldn't even be a conversation that we're having right now. I'm going to continue to bring up the O-line because I think that's a major factor that no one likes to look at besides people who actually study football. Now, the O-line is arguably the most important part of the offense. That's how you get blocked. That's how you block. That's how you get the run game going. That's how you get your quarterback to be safe, to play good. To show that they are good. The Broncos offense has done relatively pretty much nothing. Bo Nix didn't throw a touchdown on the Raiders last week, by the way. So it's just like the Raiders, the worst team in the league.
I know.
I mean, we just got to stop. We got to stop that. Now, Bo Nix, he's definitely top.
I'm never going to criticize a quarterback for winning ugly. Like, that's not something that I think, like, you win games. And obviously, like, I'll be the first one to admit I was wrong about Bo Nix. I thought he was going to be a bust. I didn't think his style of play was going to translate to the NFL. 2023, Oregon didn't really run like an NFL-style offense, but he's proven me wrong. I think Bo Nix is a good quarterback. I really do.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. I think he's pretty good. He's just not top 10 yet. That's okay. No, he's on a good team.
You're talking about the O-line. The O-line is solid, but his defense is otherworldly good. You know how many sacks they have this year? 58. 58 sacks this year. They have one of the best, like between Jonathan Allen and Nick Benito and those guys, like they have been the Broncos defense has probably won them at least half of their wins. You know what I mean? Like
I agree. Our top 10 list, everyone. 10, Baker Mayfield. Number 9, Trevor Lawrence. Number 8, Lamar Jackson. Number 7, Patrick Mahomes. Number 6, Joe Burrow has played enough games for us to consider, and he's played absolutely amazing in all those games that he's played so far.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, top 5. Drake May, top 4. You can interchange these two, Drake May and Jordan Love. I think those two can be kind of switched. I think the number 1 and 2 is kind of standard right now. Matt Stafford has played another level this year. I'm sure he'll win his MVP. Well, I hope not. I think it should go to a skill player this year outside of a quarterback, but I don't think it will.
I still got JT or JSN, but it's gonna be crazy offensive player of the year race because you have JT who's on pace for like 1,800 yards and JSN who could break Megatron's receiving record. So one of those guys is not gonna win it, which is crazy.
And Josh Allen has, of course, been the fantasy god that everyone loves to draft because he just does everything. And Matt Stafford is number 1. Now, Jordan has said in the chat that Dak 100% should be there except Baker and Trevor Lawrence is Goldilocks. He thinks he should be above one of those guys. I don't mind that at all. I just don't think he's been. I don't know. I think he's made some silly mistakes to lose in some games. He beat the Chiefs. He lost to the Lions. And it was not his fault because George Pickens was jogging his routes. So I guess I like the argument. You could put Dak above. I think maybe Trevor Lawrence.
I think Dak would probably be at 11 for me. It's just
it's close. It's super close.
I just think situation matters so much. It's like you take CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens away from Dak Prescott, and where is he? You know what I mean? Yeah, and I just like my thing about Dak is that, like I said, the passing attempts matter so much more than a lot of people think. Like the volume, he plays in one of the highest passing offenses in the league, and it's like their defense. I'm not gonna lie, it's bad, but it's gotten better. It's gotten better as they've gotten healthy. Overshown was hurt. Kenny Clark was hurt for a little bit. Deron Bland was hurt for a little bit. But those guys are all back now. Their defense, he has a bad defense excuse doesn't really work anymore because their defense has shut down offenses like the Chiefs and the Eagles. The Eagles scored they barely scored in the second half of that game.
Oh wow, Baker sucks and Trevor Lawrence is the definition of mid. The comments are on fire today. I love this, guys. Now, no Dak, no Sam Darnold.
The definition of mid is won 5 straight games and is in position to make the playoffs, though.
Look, he just beat the crap out of the Colts last week. I mean, we can't deny that. I mean, that team has been on fire all year. Now they look like they're not going to make playoffs. And Trevor Lawrence looks like he's going to win the division right now. But he still has his place.
Darnold of Baker and Lawrence. Honestly, Dak and Darnold are the 2 guys that I could, I could see going as the 9 and the 10. I'd say Dak, Baker, Dak, Goff, Darnold, and Bo Nix would probably be in whatever order my 11 through 14. I don't know what order I would put them in, but those 4 guys are all guys that I could entertain being in the top 10. But I don't know. I think Trevor, based on the situation that he's at, and you got to think, like I said, context matters. Trevor's offensive system around him, outside of Travis Etienne, has been inconsistent as hell the whole year. Like Brian Thomas has had a very strangely inconsistent and honestly just straight up bad year. He lost Travis Hunter. Brenton Strange has been on IR. For the majority of the season, Trevor's best receiver has been Parker Washington. The context matters more. And it's I like Sam Darnold, but it's he has the best receiver in football that he's throwing to. He has a fantastic offensive line. He has a very good run game with K9 and Sharps. Their tight ends are sneaky good as well.
I would take Sam Darnold last year over this year, Sam Darnold. Absolutely, because he was playing on another level last year. I know he had, a top 5 duo wide receiver core, but I think he was just playing just completely different. I don't know what it is. This year he doesn't seem to be playing on that level. I think he's just kind of being not a game manager, but just a little bit above a game manager. Not too much.
He's shown at times that like here the game that I judge Sam Darnold off of, and it's like I know this one game doesn't matter, but for Adam and like Jordan and Jalen, like people are saying that like Darnold should be above a guy like Baker. Think about that Rams game. He looked completely overmatched. That Rams game. It kind of reminded me of the Lions game last year where they lost to the Lions and it wasn't close late in the year. I just think at times when they've lost, he's looked completely ineffective, and there's been a couple games he's won where he hasn't had to do much of anything. Those are the signs to me of a high-level game manager, and there's nothing wrong with that. People throw around game manager like it's some kind of slur. Being a game manager is good. You know what I mean? Like Trevor Lawrence is a high-level game manager, but the thing is that the reason I have a guy like Trevor over a guy like Sam Darnold is because he's in a similar position with a much worse supporting cast. And that's my whole reason. Like, if you look at the injuries the Buccaneers have had for the majority of the year, there's no way. 7-7 is a fucking miracle. You know what I mean?
It's a literal miracle that they're 7-7 right now. Like they have been so injured on offense, O-line, wide receivers, tight ends have been injured. Cade Otton was out last night. So there's just so many guys that they've been missing. They're getting it back now. I don't think Baker sucks at all. I think he's just been in the slump. I just think he was a top 5 quarterback earlier this year. If we did a power ranking like in week 5, he'd be number 1 probably. But as of right now, he's just number 10.
Those guys like Herbert and Baker, those guys are also playing hurt, which further complicates things. I like Sam Darnold a lot. I like. It said Jalen is a Seahawks fan. I'll tell you what. I've said it for like 3 years. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba. At the draft, I said, and Nas knows at the draft, I said Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be the best Ohio State wide receiver in this room. And
I disagreed, and I was wrong.
I love Garrett Wilson. I think Olave's great. I like Harrison, but dude, JSN, I just watching him at Ohio State, that dude is on another level. I like the Seahawks a lot. JSN is unbelievably good. And the thing about JSN that I like is that he's not really elite at any one thing physically. Like he's not that big, he's not that strong. He's not like he's not like a DK Metcalf, super contested catch jump ball receiver type of dude, but he's just one of the best route runners I've ever seen.
Now, our top 10, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give it to you one more time. Starting from 10, Baker, 9, Trevor, 8, Lamar, 7, Mahomes, 6, Burrow, 5, Herbert, 4, Drake May, 3, Love, 2, Josh Allen, and number 1, Matthew Stafford. That is our top 10, current top 10. We'll do another one. This is our kind of our rankings. We're going to do a power rankings until the end of the season, until we get the playoffs. But that's our power rankings for this week. A lot of things can change next week as we get back to that power ranking for the quarterback. Our last topic. We're going to play another game. Real quick, we're going to play another game. I got some questions for you, David. You're going to answer them to the best of your ability. Valid or overreaction take? And my first one, I have to ask you this. I have to.
Right. I think Nas, I think you, I don't know if you can hear me. I think you froze a little bit.
Hello. Wait, can you hear me now? I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you're good now. You froze for me and I couldn't hear you, so I was.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, I think we're back.
Yeah.
All right. Don't know what happened there. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, we're gonna play valid or overreaction, like I said before. My first question. We're gonna just go super quick if you can. If not, I don't care. Take your time.
Right.
First,
okay.
Joe Burrow. had a recent press conference. You're a Bengals fan, by the way. So
Yep.
I want to know your thoughts, man. Is he leaving, or is it an overreaction to say he's leaving, or is it valid take like, hey, he might be, he's 29 years old now. He might be out of here. Is it an overreaction to say that he might be out of here pretty soon?
I've been thinking about this a lot, and the number one reason that the Bengals have been bad is because the front office has failed them. The way they draft is the way that is like the dictionary definition of what not to do if you want to be a contending team. The way the Bengals draft is that they take guys who have high ceilings but low floors, and they overcomplicate things. Like my whole thing with the draft is like just take good football players. You know what I mean? Like don't take guys who like a guy like Shamar Stewart. I wanted Mike Green. I wanted Walter Nolan. I wanted one of those guys that has like proven college production. Don't overcomplicate it. Take good football players. And the Bengals for years have drafted guys who like, you know, have super high ceilings and have high projections, but like, have like problems or red flags or something like that, or like are like huge projects and everything like that. And that's how they do with the guys they like sign to and everything. And they haven't put a good defense around Joe, since the Super Bowl. The defense last year, like was one of the secondary was horrible. Now they fixed the secondary, and the secondary is actually pretty good. DJ Turner, in my opinion, should be an All-Pro. That dude is out of this. That dude has been out of this world good. The linebackers are terrible. It's like a new position every year. It's just been god awful, and like. I can understand how he would be pretty fed up with the front office, but I don't really know how he's under contract until I believe 2028. He signed a 5-year extension in 23, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I believe he has 2 more years after this season, and I just don't know how you would trade a contract like that. And you got to think with a thing like this is like the list of teams that need a quarterback are getting slimmer by the day because you have the draft and you have whatever like free agent quarterbacks, guys like Kyler or whoever's available in the next cycle, and then you have obviously the draft, but then you have to think about the teams who would have the cap space, not only cap space but the assets to be able to move a guy for a guy like Joe Burrow. And I do think he finishes his contract out with the Bengals just because a move like that is something that you don't usually see quarterbacks of that magnitude on contracts like that get traded. And when you do, there's usually a very short list of teams that have the means to trade for him. So as frustrating as it is, I don't really think that's going to happen. Because like I remember you said in the chat a couple days ago, like a team like the Rams could potentially trade for him.
Yeah, so I was going to say.
In theory, I think that could be really interesting, but it's like, the thing about the Rams is that one of the reasons they're as good as they are right now is because a lot of their pieces are on very cost-controlled contracts. Puka Nacua hasn't gotten extended yet. Jared Verse, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, all those guys on their defense haven't gotten extended yet. Kyren Williams hasn't gotten extended yet. Like, a lot of their big pieces are on very manageable contracts. If they trade for a guy like Joe Burrow, they might not be able to pay Puka. They might not be able to pay a guy like Jared Verse or a guy like Byron Young or like one of these elite defensive young pieces they have. And I don't really know if it would be worth it. Obviously, you would put yourself, as long as you have a quarterback like that, you are a Super Bowl contender. I still think the Bengals, as long as they have Joe and Jamar, they always are going to be a team that is at very least capable of, making a run. But is it really worth, not being able to afford the young defense that you've assembled or being able to build your offense around anything more than Puka for doing that? I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's fair. So you think it's an overreaction?
I do think it's an overreaction.
Okay. All right. Next question. The Broncos are not serious. The Broncos are not serious. They're not a serious team, and they are first round exit if they don't have a bye. Is that a valid take or an overreaction take?
I think the Broncos offense, I definitely agree. but their defense is good enough to like their defense beat the Chiefs. Their defense like has straight up won them games. So that one's tough for me because the Broncos defense is one of the best in the league, but their offense, especially no J.K. Dobbins, if the Broncos get into a situation where Bo Nix and their offense has to go out and win them a game,
that's what I mean. It's a playoff game.
It's a playoff. That is true. I would agree. But I would say with the caveat that I think their defense is capable of carrying them to at least a playoff victory. But if the game is put in the hands of the offense, I would have to agree.
Oh, hold on. Did I lose you again? Okay, no, we're good. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Next question. We're going to transition to the NFC North quick. Your boy, J.J. McCarthy. Overreaction or valid? He's just not the quarterback. He's not the guy. What's your take on that?
Dude, honestly, and like as a Michigan fan, I want, dude, fucking let's go. Free Harbaugh, baby. I didn't get a valid chance to pull it out, but I've been wearing it all day. Love JJ, my favorite college player of all time. I'm gonna say overreaction. I think it's no matter how bad he's looked, he's also like the way I see it, he's looked horrible, but he's also looked pretty solid at times. He's 3-3 in his first 6 starts, and I know that's a pretty black and white. Free Sharon, that's what I'm saying, man. You fired somebody for chasing some tail, man. Like I'm really gonna get mad at him.
No good. That's insane.
But like, yeah, no, like he's 3. That's a pretty black and white way of looking at it. But he's 3-3 in his first 6 starts. He's had 3 good games and 3 bad games. But like the 2 of the teams he's beat, pretty legit teams. He beat the Bears and he beat the Lions, and he looked good in those games too. And I mean, like, listen, I think J.J. McCarthy's ceiling is like the ceiling of a guy like Trevor Lawrence. God forbid he wants to play in the snow.
Jesus. All right. Well, a little bit of context, like you said, Dave. Some context on that last comment.
Yeah. No, but yeah,
go ahead.
I think his ceiling is a guy like Trevor, like a high-level game manager and everything like that. But you know, the thing is, and I don't know if you saw this, there's a report that apparently they didn't even want, after JJ got injured, O'Connell wanted to shut him down for the whole year and didn't want him to play because they didn't think he was ready. But then obviously Carson Wentz tore every ligament in his freaking shoulder, and they had to put him back out there. But like, so that like Bears game and that Packers game, the second one, they those shouldn't have even like have happened. And I'm not excusing how bad he played. I'm just saying, like, you know, it seems like when the Vikings drafted him, there was like a clear plan on how they wanted to manage his development. And that plan has kind of gotten derailed from the fact that, you know, he tore his meniscus year 1, and then he had this ankle injury. And I do think a little bit of leniency has to be applied. Now, he hasn't looked great, but I think he's shown enough flashes to where, you know, I still do think that given the right development and enough time, he can be the franchise QB for the Vikings. So I'm going to say overreaction.
Wow. Okay. All right. Hey, I disagree, but we'll see eventually. I mean, he's only the first year starting, so
you have every right to disagree. The lows have been extremely low, but I'm riding with my guy. I love 9.
All right. Hey, he loves 9 in the chat. No, one last question for you.
I love 9, man. I'll die for 9.
All right, I'll die for Bryce Young. Listen, last question. Okay, this is about the pretty much the entire league. Overreaction or valid take? There's no dominant team in the NFL, and it is up for grabs this year.
I would say overreaction and say the Rams. I really like the Rams.
Really?
I really like
dominant
the Rams.
Dominant though. Like they have a worse record than the Patriots and Broncos, though. You got to think about that too.
Oh, that is true. Fuck.
No, as I'm saying, no, I don't think there's, because I think the Broncos are frauds in my opinion. I think the Patriots, they're better than the Broncos in my opinion.
I think the Patriots are a pretty good team. I do like. I can get behind you with the Broncos. I like the Patriots.
But the Patriots haven't played anyone particularly well besides the Bills. They haven't played anyone. True. You know what I mean? There's no dominant team. You'll go ahead though.
Yeah, that's That's true. The Patriots haven't played anyone, but like I just think the level that May is playing at is pretty impressive. And the like I said, you look at their offensive core, and it's really not that like there's really not anything crazy. Like I mean, I know Henderson has like huge big playability, and Stephon Diggs is still pretty good, but it's like they don't really have like any offensive superstars. And May is elevating all these role players. Like he's making them all look great. Their defense is solid, but it's like I just the thing about the Patriots is that I just think I think the Patriots are the best coached team in the league. I am a huge Vrabel guy.
I also am a big Vrabel guy. I love him as a coach.
The Patriots and the Rams, they do all the little things right, and that's what I think. Like if I was gonna say dominant, like they don't get penalized. You know, they make the right coaching decisions and everything like that. They don't miss there's no Todd Bowles level decision making yesterday against the Falcons. Like I don't know. The Seahawks. The Seahawks are another team. I think okay. Here's what I'll say. There are teams that have looked dominant for stretches. I think the Patriots, the Seahawks, and the Rams have all looked dominant at times.
Okay,
but.
No clear dominant team though, right?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Okay. Now my last so valid take.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Valid take.
One more question for you. I just thought of this one on top of my head.
Let's go.
No Mahomes in the playoffs likely after if the Chargers win, they're pretty much out. Okay.
Right.
Now let's say hypothetically that happens because there's always a chance that we lose. If Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, neither of them make a Super Bowl this year, we have to start talking about a different top 5. Is that a
I would agree.
I
would agree. I think, and I know you're a big Lamar guy, but the dude has done basically nothing in the playoffs. And I know he doesn't have the best teams around him either, but yeah, I would agree. Allen has never been able to get over the hump, even though he's had some really not only well-coached teams, but some very, very good defensive teams around him. Like, I would agree. At one point, are we going to stop like taking the regular season into effect so much because like these guys aren't even playing well in the regular season? And it's like I know Lamar was hurt. But before this past game, he hadn't rushed for a touchdown in like over a month. You know,
I don't know what's wrong with him. Josh Allen has been pretty good. It's just if there's a team that he should be kind of afraid of, it's the Patriots now. It's the Broncos still. I think Broncos defense can contain him pretty well. You know, Surtain is the defending defensive player of the year. It's certain. I'm not gonna lie. I think Harbaugh in Buffalo would be pretty interesting. It's just certain teams that could still kind of put it to him, and I don't. It's just Lamar as well. I mean, if those two don't make the Super Bowl this year, if neither one of them make it this year, I think this is the clearest path that they'll have unless Mahomes decides to miss the playoffs for the next 3 years. Okay,
I would agree. Sure. I'll throw out another valid overreaction for you here, and this is something I've seen circulating because of the recent Sherrone Moore news. If the Ravens don't make the playoffs, do you think Harbaugh gets fired?
I want him to, but that's like asking if Tomlin will get fired, dude. I don't know. I think it'll have to be a mutual thing that like they kind of just kind of agree to part ways. If it's Tomlin, but if it's Harbaugh, if he doesn't make playoffs, he has to get fired. There's no way because I think they'll give him the benefit of the doubt because Lamar was hurt for the majority of the season, and when Lamar came back, they started winning games, obviously, but he's just not a good coach anymore, in my opinion, man. The development of the team was pretty well put together for the first week of the NFL. The roster looked amazing. You know, they signed a great amount of guys for their defense to get back to that defensive level that they were 2 years ago. They extended
Madubuike. They drafted really well.
Really
well. Starks, Wiggins, I like those guys a lot.
But Starks is something else, man. Look, they drafted well. They signed a lot of great people. They have Lamar Jackson, the first, first team All Pro last year. It's just you got all these people on your team, and he's just I at some point you gotta stop blaming Lamar. Looking at the coaches, man. Like I'm sorry, I know I'm a big Lamar guy, but Harbaugh has not been good. I don't know. I don't know. I think that's a valid take. That's not an overreaction.
I have Harbaugh in our fantasy league, the Hawkertons one, and this is how I am benching Lamar in the playoffs because I have Drake May as well. I am not starting Lamar, which you like at the beginning of the season I would have been crazy, but like now,
crazy. Absolutely, yeah. Now you don't have a choice.
Yeah, I like May. I like May more for fantasy wise, which is insane. But yeah, because the reason I say that is because the odds, like the betting odds for who Michigan's next head coach will be, I think will interest you a lot. Number one is Kalen DeBoer, which I would like, but number two,
I like that one.
Number two is Jesse Minter, and number three is Jim Harbaugh. Number three is Jim Harbaugh. John Harbaugh. John
Harbaugh would be, yeah. I don't know. Minter. I really hope Minter doesn't leave because
I know
we would be in shambles.
I know. I mean, look, man. I like Jim and Jesse are like they were. I love him just as much as you do, but I think I think that he is going to be like a Ben Johnson level guy this next cycle, where guys are gonna be like throwing the house at him to become their next head coach, just because his skills in college have 100% translated to the NFL with the Chargers. And I saw a really interesting tweet. That's why I brought it up. It was a picture of Minter, and it says, "I wonder who gets to him first, the Ravens or Michigan." So
I like where your head's at. Him and Baltimore would be pretty damn good, actually.
I know. Right?
Michigan would be good. I think you guys should get DeBoer for Michigan. I think that's.
I would love DeBoer, but if we're gonna go not the college route, the two highest bet, and I mean obviously like that doesn't have to mean anything, but the two highest betting odds non-current college coaches are Minter and John Harbaugh. So that's why I was asking.
All right. Well, hey, that is our valid or overreaction NFL, and I guess a little bit of college edition. David, we're gonna get into our final thoughts, man. What anything you would like to say for our last couple minutes? We've been on here for a little bit now. It's been
really have been.
Hour and a half almost, maybe a little bit over that. But any final thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm obviously I'm super something we didn't really talk about, but I'm super excited about how the college or not the college, the MLB winter meetings are gonna shake out. We've already seen some big pieces fall. Kyle Schwarber resigned with the Phillies. The Mets are just in complete free fall. They lost Edwin Diaz. To
the Orioles, right?
Yeah. No. Did they? I forget where Edwin. No, because the Orioles got Alonso.
That's what it was. Alonso. Okay. Yeah.
Diaz. Oh no, Diaz went to the Padres. Diaz went to the Padres because they didn't.
That's what it was. Padres.
And then Robert Suarez, it was a domino effect because Robert Suarez signed with the Braves yesterday, which was kind of interesting. But so yeah, I'm super excited to see like where Kyle Tucker goes, to see where like Corey, if the Rangers are supposedly shopping Corey Seager. They already traded Simeon, so a lot of moving pieces in the MLB. I'm super excited to see where that happens. White Sox just landed the number 1 pick in the 26th draft, which I'm super excited about.
Oh, that'd be fun.
This shortstop from UCLA was looking like a pretty cool pick. And college basketball, man, there's going to be some really interesting games tomorrow. Texas Tech and Arkansas is going to be a really good game. Calipari. Calipari versus Beard. We got Illinois, Nebraska is going to be a really good Big Ten matchup. And then Arizona, Alabama is going to be a super fun one.
Arizona's good, man. I think they're my favorite right now.
Arizona's the only team I'm willing to admit is on par, better than Michigan. But dude, Alabama's got some really good LeBaron Fillin, man, Aiden Holloway. Like that's gonna be a great game. Seeing him and Koa Pete and Jaden Bradley go up against those two. Really looking forward to that. But yeah, so I know we didn't talk a lot about MLB or college basketball, but yeah, I just want to highlight some interesting points from those for final thoughts.
Awesome. Now my final thought: we beat the Bucks. We beat the Celtics yesterday without Giannis. KPJ triple double.
Oh
Kyle
man,
Kuzma somehow put up there. Dude, we need to pay Kevin Porter Jr. I'm sorry. He's a superstar. He's a superstar in the making. Kyle Kuzma put up 31 points. Bobby Portis put up 27, by the way. But KPJ, this is my hottest take. That's not even really a hot take anymore. I think with Giannis talks, going out every day, it seems now, KPJ needs to get a bag. I think we cannot miss the ball on this guy. We cannot miss the ball on signing such a great player in our. He loves our community too. He loves it here. He has a low key life now. He's just happy. He's playing basketball at the highest level right now. I think he's not even his peak yet. He's only 24, 25.
He's tough as hell, man. I remember he had that 50-point game with the Rockets back in the year after COVID, and he was playing with it was him and Jalen Green, man. He is a great player. He's just always been one of those guys where it's like the off the court shit has been like all that shit that happened to him in Cleveland. But yeah, no. And the thing about the Bucks is that they made some pretty under the radar good extensions. Like the fact that you guys got Gary Trent Jr. for like 3 years under $10 million. That's
crazy.
What's that guy's name? The white guy, I forget his name.
AJ Green.
Yeah, AJ Green. That was a really good extension. The Bucks have made some pretty nice supplementary moves that I think if that continues, they should be able to lock down KPJ to a pretty reasonable contract as well.
Look, man, we gotta give KPJ the money.
Yeah,
Bucks, please listen to me when I say this. KPJ is the truth. I've been telling people that since the beginning of the season, but no one wanted to listen. But it's okay. We're seeing it now. And the last thing you're going to see is this: subscribe and hit the like button, because you guys need to go do that. Thank you guys for joining us today. The comments were filled today. We had a pretty fun show. A lot of games being played, a lot of disputes, a lot of arguments in the chat, but that's okay. Thank you guys for joining us today. David, thank you for joining me last second. It's been great. It's been a fun episode. Glad to talk to you about some sports every week. Thank you guys again for joining, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Peace.